Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues, and I want to commend the committee for a job well done. And I want to also call on our distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, for this opportunity. We should take this particular issue that affects Nigerians very seriously. So I want to refer to the Constitution. The Constitution says clearly that any other law that is inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution, this Constitution should prevail, and that law shall be, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. This country belongs to us. This democracy belongs to the people. I'm surprised, and there are two surprises now. One is the sudden hike of the electricity tariff, and which to me is against the Constitution, because our Constitution is supreme. Section 42 says that you cannot discriminate against Nigerians. When I heard about this, Band A, Band 2, Band B, Band C, it's discrimination. It's discrimination, and it should not be allowed. This is the first time I'm hearing it, that you can get an hour for 20 hours, and somebody will get it too. Supposing you are living among the masses, and you can afford to pay for 24 hours, and that is what they are supposed to provide. Besides, this power supply, power distribution company belongs to Nigerians. They just took it like that and then use it to be loading charges on Nigerians. Suddenly one morning, they wake up again and say, a cybercrime levy. Thank God this president is listening. And we have a responsibility of calling people to order. If you see how the Minister of Power was presenting this increase in power, as if he owns the company and these Nigerians are being provided. It should not be like that. We are appointed, we are elected. Please, SP, I can see that you are running out of patience. But we are supposed to be doing the right thing. Please. We must commend when somebody does a good job and gives us a leadway, we should follow. I'm happy. It's only that he ignored another group. There should be Band G, and I belong to that group. Band generator and renewable energy, because we don't see the light anywhere. So let's take this issue of power so that it doesn't come up. Nigerians are getting too much shock unnecessarily. Somebody will just wake up and say, and get a crazy idea that, oh, increase the power this thing, and you go there and announce it. No, it should go through the National Assembly. That's why we are here. We are representing the people, and anything that affects the people should be before the National Assembly before you do it, please. And so let us not, like this now, if we start discussing this very important matter, you say, oh, 10 minutes, 2 minutes. No. In the U.S. Senate, if a senator stands up to speak, you don't tell him round up until he yields the floor. That is how it's supposed to be. Please.
So, Chief Whip, you are the one that we need to regulate our procedure, and part of the regulation is to give allotment to people to speak. If you speak for 1 hour, 2 hours, then others will not speak. And unfortunately, and you are the Chief Whip. I mean.
Mr. Senate President.
Well, okay, I think we need to understand this. The United States democracy, yes, is presidential like ours, but there are differences between what we do here and what they do there.
Yes.
Section 60 of the Constitution gives us the right to regulate our procedure, and we have in our rules. Excuse me, and we have our rules, and our rules give us that arrangement where everybody will be given.
Mr. Senate President. Order.
Now, thank you very much for your attention.
this report, not about time. And if it's about time, you are the one that regulates time. You are the chief whip. So, minority leader, it's your job. So tomorrow, listen. Tomorrow, come with a motion to amend our rules so that senators will be given 1 hour to speak anytime they want to speak. So you bring, so bring.
If we go through the rules, thank you, sir. If we go through the rules, let's not bring emotions into this issue. Like the president has said, we are operating a democracy close and near to the American model, but we have different rules. In our rules, although you have overextended time to speak, but you do so at the pleasure of the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate has the power under these rules to provide both the timing and also to recognize people who can to speak. We have no provision in these rules for filibuster, while Americans have filibuster provisions, under their own rules. Under filibuster provisions, you can speak for days. They have those provisions, but we don't have provisions like that. But this one is for another time. If the chief whip want to introduce a filibuster provision, let him come with a motion to this honorable chamber, and then the members will consider that kind of provision and see whether we can readjust our rules to reflect what he wants. But we cannot just sit down and legislate and agree to an American model. But whatever the case, sir, what we are dealing with is the report of the Fire Committee, and the committee of which I'm a member has been assigned to make a report, and we are presenting the report, and let us sit down and focus on the issues that we have presented in the report. Other matters should be left for other times.
Thank you.
I said earlier that this is an unnecessary distraction, and we have something here that may not be in the American version, the mood of the Senate. So if somebody stands up to speak for 2 hours and he looks behind in line with the mood of the Senate and there is no senator, maybe we can go on. But quite frankly, I think this is a very, very serious matter, Mr. President, that we just need to concentrate on. Mr. President, it's very sad the way things are going. And I want to commend the committee for a very thorough job, having gone through this report. I also want to commend the aspect of the report that has indicated presidential initiatives. I think that given the power situation in this country and some of the things in this country, any initiative from the presidency or from the president that seeks to ameliorate the conditions of the ordinary person should be appreciated. And it's on that note that I want to commend Mr. President for his initiative on metering, and I want to commend the whole system of medicine, because if you look at it, we are talking about price increases in tariffs and the rest of them, and they are not commensurate with the supply of electricity. In 1 hour, there will be power outage for more than 10 times in this country. Nobody is addressing that one. They are talking about how to increase money for discos. And like the report has shown, which I have said here before, we provide transformers for our communities. And when you provide transformers, even from these discos and the rest of them, to come and install these transformers becomes a problem. If they want to come and even certify the transformers, you have to pay them. And they get the money, and they take ownership of these transformers. If there is a breakdown in line today to any community, they will call you to come and fix it for them. These people will not be there. To come and help in installing them is a problem. And so, Mr. President, I think that we should, on the whole, given what has been recommended here, adopt the recommendations of this committee, because it's a very thorough job and it speaks to the frustration of the average Nigerian. And so it must be halted. We must resolve here to halt this power increase because it's arbitrary and it doesn't speak to any realistic situation in our society today. And unless we take very serious actions against some of these agencies and companies that have taken over some of our national assets, we will not achieve results. I proposed here before that this ceding of this power distribution and rest of them to these discos without appropriate expertise will not help this country. And so, Mr. President, let's take these recommendations and let's adopt them and ensure that this arbitrary increase does not see the light of day. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, my name is Oyewumi Kamaldeen Olalere. I represent Osun West Senatorial District of Osun State. Sir, I want to start by thanking the members, the chairman and members of this committee for the job well done. I'm particularly interested in even the topic of this, the title of this report, which reads need to halt the proposed increase in the electricity tariff by 11 discos and the planned hike in electricity tariff. I think that title itself captured the need of the country now. Sir, we have to be very realistic. I said it in one of the hearings then, that we cannot solve on all Nigerian problems in one day because government exists for the people. And whatever any reform is being undertaken by any government, I think it is for the welfare of the people. If that is the issue, we cannot stiffen the people to death in an effort to bring any reform. Sir, I think in the recommendation number 3, I want to emphasize, there's nothing we can do now. The power generation in Nigeria now, as put by the minister itself, is 4,000 megawatts. That has not increased for the last 1 year. There's nothing you can do. We have about 300 million people in Nigeria, and about 180 million are connected already. I think the effort of the government more should be in the generation companies. We have to find a way of increasing what we generate. There is no effort you can put in other distribution or the distribution of the existing 4,000, and you think that will solve any problem. They are owing, from their report, they are owing the Gencos so much money, going to trillions. So those ones are not encouraged to increase the production. Everybody is talking of how to rake money from the customers without increasing what we are selling to them. I think efforts will be made to pay the Gencos so that they will be encouraged to increase the production. Once the production is increased and we increase the metering effort of the government, I think we are going to get better for it. So the Senate should be very emphatic on stopping this tariff to help Nigerians. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Mohammed Adamu Alero is my name. I represent Kebbi Central. Mr. President, let me start by commending the chairman and members of the committee for a detailed and comprehensive report on the recent increase of a tariff by NAC and DISCOs. Let me also say that this increase was done without due consultation, as stated in the Electricity Act. It is against the provisions of the law. So it was unanimous. It was unanimously agreed that this increase should be halted because it didn't go through the due process. Customers were not consulted. There were no sensitization. And above all, the timing of this increase, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is wrong. Nigerians are confronted with the increase of fuel. Nigerians are also confronted with the increase of, the exchange rate fluctuations. And this has made the cost of living to be very, very high. And on top of it, now we are bringing the issue of electricity tariff, the increase. So I participated in the public hearing, and ample opportunity was given to all stakeholders to state their views. And the preponderance of opinion was that this increase should be halted in the interest of the country, because the manufacturing sector that requires electricity to produce goods and services is badly affected. And some of them, the man that came to represent Manufacturers Association of Nigeria stated that some of the manufacturers are even closing their factories because they cannot afford to pay this tariff. And we are here talking every day about diversification of the economy. There is no way you can diversify the economy if you don't go into massive production. And massive production requires power. Electricity is the key. So, in my view, we should go straight to the recommendation. A very good job has been done, and I think we should not waste time in debating this report, because the essence of allowing the committee to do the job is to go and study in detail what is required. And that has been done. The Senate cannot, as a committee, discuss the details of this, but it's given to the committee to do that, and they have done a good job. We should go through the recommendation without wasting time. Thank you.
Senator,
I concur with the positions that have been taken up by Senator Aleru, Senator Abomoro, and the general debate that has happened. I just want to bring our attention to the fact that this particular report, as comprehensive as it is about the MITO and others. But you could see from the various positions, from the various recommendations that have been made, the way in which the power sector is so segmented, with so many initiatives all over the place, with so many different factors. Some of them were not even under the purview of the committee. There are so many systems, part of the systems, within the system, there are so many units that are operating in silos. So, Mr. Chairman, my own position really on this matter is that we look at the subject matter of the report, which made a recommendation that we should look at the issue of power, which is very fundamental to this country in its holistic sense. And that is, we are doing so much subsidy all over, about over 90%, 95% really of the power supply system in this country is subsidized. Now, without really looking at the entire system as a whole, the amount of resources that we spend on power are overextended, and at each point, there is a lot of waste. So my suggestion, Mr. Chairman, is that the committee, maybe at a later time, may come up with maybe a motion about the direction in which we think solutions to the problem of power in this country can be found. And this requires us to look at the system holistically. Now, I subscribe to the position that distinguished Senator Isa Ochocho recently advocated. There is no country in the world that does not subsidize its power supply system. But our own, that we are doing the subsidies in different segments, in different classes. And that accounts for the cost that the federal government is facing.
My name is Jimo Ibrahim, representing the good people of Ondo State. As beautiful as this report is, excellent work done, the Senate must be on the caution side. When a matter is pending before the court of law, we should give respect to the judiciary and allow them to dispense with that matter. We are not in a hurry. The 10th Senate has a lifetime of another 3 years. We have time to discuss this holistically. Like the Senate, the former leader have said, issues converging in this report are many. So there are converging complexities around NEPA itself, around power itself. So, Mr. Senate President, we cannot be the judge here. We are to make laws. In fact, if a particular law like the Constitution cited by the Senate leader has covered the entire field, in constitutional law, we call it covering the field, and we will not be able to adjudicate on that. But in lending my support to that motion, I want to say that we step down entirely. This report, on the ground, let me make my point, on the ground that is subjudice. In fact, why are we debating it? Look at the number of we are in the Senate, less than 1/5. And we carry a report that is of national interest, and less than 1/5 member are discussing it, despite the fact that it's pending in a court of law. We will be unfair and we will be unjust to continue to debate simultaneously a matter that is pending in court. So I also encourage this very motion moved by my brother, that in view of the fact that the matter is pending in court, would you step down this report for now? Thank you.
There is a point of order already.